Aishwarya.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Okay. So what till where we have studied? This all we have studied. Atomic and ionic reaction. Okay. All these things we have studied. We will continue. All these points we have discussed. Where we have to continue that we will say. Reactivity of group 16 elements with the oxygen. Okay. So what the about the oxygens? So different elements will have different type of oxides in the case of 16th group elements. So if you know, if you see, these 16th group elements form EO2 and EO3 types. For example, sulfur is there. Sulfur can form SO2 and SO3. Selenium can form SiO2 and SeO3. Sulfur selenium forms this type of oxides. And ozone and SO2, O3 stands for ozone. Okay, these are the compounds of what 16th group elements, right? So oxygen is also oxides of oxygen. This is you can consider because oxygen is O2 and one oxygen extra is there. That's how it is. O3 and SO2 are gases. SeO2 is polymeric solid. Whatever the selenium dioxide is there, that is not like SO2. That is how this type of polymeric form that will exist. And reducing property, what about the reducing property? Reducing property of dioxides decreases from SO2 to TeO2. So SO2, SeO2, so these trends are very important. TeO2, if you go down the group, what they are saying that reducing property of dioxide decreases. So why it is? Because just try to understanding what is the reducing by nature of electron, lone pair of electrons. So who can give the lone pair of electrons, that is based upon that one will be decided. So if lone pair of electron is there, so sulfur is there and TeO2 is there. So which one can give the lone pair of electron easily, Rohini? Sulfur can give or tellurium can give? Vidisha, which one can give lone pair of electrons?
Sulfur.
Sulfur. So okay. So which one? So I said one of the reason in the case of NH3. Okay, NH3 and PH3. So which one is a strong base in this case? NH3 and PH3. Just for your understanding, I am just recollecting. NH3, PH3. Which one is the strong base, Vidisha?
PH3.
PH3 is the strong basic. Rohini, Aishwarya, which one is the strong basic?
NH3, sir.
Why? NH3 is basic, but why? Nikhil, why NH3 is the more basic? All of you should watch the recorded videos once again. Okay, why it is basic? Because lone pair of electrons can be given easily, whereas in the case of NH3. But the same way here, compared with PH3, this lone pair of electron cannot be given easily. So if you go down the group, inert pair effect also will be increased, right? So inert pair effect also increased. So that is the reason what happens. Te, the whatever the lone pair of electrons are there, that will be strongly held by nucleus of tellurium. That is the reason this lone pair of electron cannot be given. So whoever is giving the lone pair of electron, that means what? That is reducing. So how, for example, some A2 plus is there, A2 plus is there, okay, and you are reducing with the TeO2, and the same one you are reducing with the SO2 plus A2 plus, this one. Okay, so here 2 plus it is. So reducing means if he is giving the two lone pair of electrons to this one, then what happens? Te2 plus and plus A will form. Okay, if this case S is giving sulfur dioxide is from the lone pair of electron, this one is giving, so A2 plus will become A and S2 plus, whatever it is, SO3 2 plus. So this will change. Now A2 plus to the A, what is happening here? Is it oxidizing or reducing? Aishwarya, what is happening? Is it oxidation reaction or reduction reaction?
Oxidation, sir.
A2 plus to A. Oxidation number increasing or decreasing? Here A means what? 0. Is it increasing or decreasing?
Increasing, sir.
A2 plus to 0 means the number is increasing. 2 to 0 means increasing, right? Very good, excellent.
Yes, sir.
Vidisha, 2 to 0 increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing, sir.
So 2 to 0 means decreasing. Decreasing means reduction हो रहा है उधर. What is happening here? Reduction or oxidation?
Reduction, sir.
Reduction reaction. So who is the reducing agent here? TiO2. Okay, the same case for the SO2. So who can give the lone pair of electrons in this case? As just now we have discussed with Disha, whether SO2 can give easily, TiO2 can give easily.
SO2.
So which one is the good reducing agent? SO2 is the good reducing agent. So here reduction property based upon who can give the lone pair of electrons easily. So that's how SO2 is the more reducing agent. Next is the, so this is what? More towards nucleus. Tellurium attracted more towards nucleus. What? Lone pair of electrons. Lone pair of electrons more attract more towards the nucleus as compared to the lone pair of electrons on the sulfur. So what happens? Reducing property of SO2 is more than TiO2. Apart from that one, if we, so that means that reducing property is increasing. If we consider the tendency to provide oxygen, so who can provide the oxygen? So based upon that, if we see oxidation property, if we see SO2 is there and TiO2 is there, so which one can give the oxygen easily in this case? Rohini, whether SO2 can give or TiO2 can give oxygen easily? Vidisha, can you tell?
Tellurium, sir.
Why tellurium can give?
Because it is the best oxidizing agent.
But why? Why that can give oxygen? Oxidation means what? Which can oxidizing agent means which can give the oxygen. So you are saying TiO2 is a good oxidizing agent. So why TiO2 is a good oxidizer? So on which basis you are saying this can give the oxygen compared with SO2?
The electrons are far away from nucleus.
Okay. So main thing is here bond length will be increased, right? Bond length will be the strength of bond will be decreased. In the case of SO2, if you go to TiO2, that will have more bond length. Okay, more bond length. So if increasing, so as I said already in the previous classes, so long stick can be broken easily compared with this small stick. So this can be broken and oxygen can give. So reducing property is one thing that we have seen already. So what is happening? Sulfur dioxide is the good reducing agent, but in the case of oxidation, which one is the oxidizing agent? So that is opposite, obviously, because reducing property is decreasing. Means you think that oxidizing property is increasing. So on which basis we can tell that bond length can be bond length, since it is the longer one, can be broken easily. That's how this can give the oxygen. Now what is the next one? So that's what about all this point. So besides CO2, all these are this first point is regarding EO2 type. Selenium and tellurium forms EO3 type oxides also. Which one? SO3, SiO3, TiO3. This type of trioxides also forms. In this one, SO2, SO3, selenium dioxide, selenium trioxide, tellurium trioxide are the acidic. All these are the acidic. But TiO2 is amphoteric. Okay. This one is the amphoteric. Why it is amphoteric? All these are the acidic, and why TiO3 is, we are saying it is the acidic, but TiO2 is, we are saying it is amphoteric. That means that is reducing the acidic property. Why it is so? Vidisha, can you tell? Why it could be? Okay. NO2 is there. NO3 is there. Which one is the more acidic among these two? Vidisha.
NO3.
Why NO3 is more acidic?
It is trioxide, which are more acidic than dioxide.
Because oxidation number is more. Okay, this is trioxide, this is the +4. So here TiO3 is acidic. Okay, so TiO3 means here it is +6. Here TiO2 means what it is? 4, +4. Okay, here 2 number of oxygen. So compared with acidity will be decreased. And the metallic property, what happens usually if you go down the group, metallic property will be increasing. So usually metallic oxides acidic or basic? Usually. Vidisha.
Basic, sir.
Huh?
Basic.
Metallic oxides are acidic?
Basic.
Basic. So that is the reason. What is happening if you go down the group, metallic property is increasing, and this, since TeO2 is tellurium is little bit near to the metal only. Polonium is the pure metal, it is considered as a metalloid, selenium and tellurium. So but TeO3 case, what is happening, since more oxygens it is having, that will behave as a acidic, but TeO2, as it is the oxidation number of tellurium is decreasing, that's how that behave as a amphoteric. And we know PO2 while amphoteric even shows some basic character also. Which one? Polonium is the metal, right? Almost. Non-metallic oxides are acidic, that we know, while metallic oxides are basic in general. So trioxides are more acidic than dioxides, that already we have studied in the 15th group. Because as the oxidation state of the central atom becomes larger, then acidity of the molecule increases. So this is what about the all this one. Next. Reactivity of group 16 elements towards the halogen. How they do react with the halogens? We see. Elements of group 16 form a large number of halides of the type like EX6, EX4, EX2. So among these two also, so what is E? E is the central element. X stands for halogens. What are the halogens? Fluorine, chlorine,
bromine, iodine.
So all these are the halogens. So that's what, for example, sulfur is there. Sulfur, SF6 and SF4, SF2, this type of. So among this all, whereas element of the group. So who one is the more stable one? That also we will see now. The stability of the halides decreases in the order of F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. So what does it mean? If you take SF6, if you take SCl6, so they will ask you in the examination what happens to the stability of the halides. So what you have to do, this one is the more stable. Why it is so? Because the sizes are almost near, this sulfur and fluorine, and S is there, okay. Since fluorine is the smaller size, so what happens, fluorine can occupy the space 3, 4, 5, 6, but chlorine is what? Bigger size. So due to bigger size, all 6 atoms cannot come and cannot sit here. So that is the reason decreases it, the stability will be decreases. Next, among hexahalides, hexafluorides are the only stable halides. So among the hexahalides, so which one is the most stable? Fluoride, hexafluorides. That means that what they are saying, if SF6 is there, that one is the more stable. F6 in the hexa case means SL6 will not be much stable, but SCl will be more stable, okay, and selenium, Cl4, all these are the more stable. But in the hexa cases, due to the size, what happens, fluorine is the SF6 only more exist. And what about the physical properties? All hexafluorides are gaseous in nature. They have octahedral structure, we know. If it is the surrounded by 6 atoms, so that will have usually octahedral structure. Exceptional stable for steric reasons. So due to the how much that is occupying the space, based upon that it is because of the comparable small size of sulfur atom with fluorine. Sulfur and fluorine almost similar, nearby sizes, so that can be comparable atoms, and so the steric factor of F atoms occur, which do not allow other species to attack on sulfur, and so it becomes exceptionally stable. What does it mean? Why it is more stable? Another reason why they are saying, if fluorine is there, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So this is all based upon the size. If we take other one, so for example, if you take tellurium, okay, so the size of tellurium is bigger, and if fluorines are came, so here gaps will be there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if TeF6 is there. So here gaps are there. Due to that one, what happens? Any nucleophile, whatever it is there, for example, water is there, H2. Okay, since that can attack, space is there that can attack on the central element. Why? Because space is there here, but here space is not there to go the nucleophile and attack. So nucleophile means which gives the lone pair of electrons, which is having the charge which can donate the lone pair of electron. That is called the nucleophile. These are the neutral nucleophiles which can give the lone pair of electron. So since water, for example, if water go and attack, that is called the hydrolysis of TeF6, for example. Hydrolysis of what? Te6. Because water we are adding, and if, for example, that is forming tellurium OH6, for example, just hypothetical, it's not for this, it's not stable. So if this type of compound is forming, then we say hydrolysis has been done to the TeF6 because water molecule went and attack on there. So this case doesn't happen here. Are you able to see, Aishwarya, what I am writing here?
Yes.
Now my voice is clear. Are any internet connection issues are there?
No, sir.
How this hexa fluorides can be formed? The electronic configuration of sulfur is this one, right? 3s2 3p4. So we want fluorine means what? Fluorine 1s2 2s2 2p5. So this whatever this 2p5 is there, how many electrons are there? 2 here, 1. Okay, this lone pair, 1 electron is there, that only will participate in the bond. So how many fluorines, how many electrons are we required to make it as a bond here? How many are required here, Vidisha?
6.
6 are required. So that is the reason 6 fluorines will come with their electrons, with single electrons, and that will be paired up here. That's how SF6 compounds can be formed. So these are the fluorines. So there is no space, much space. And this is how the molecule in the 3D structure, this is how it will be. Okay, 4 will be in the same plane and 1 will be in the above and another one will be below. So these structures are called what? Octahedral structures. This you have studied in the class 11th also. So this is how you can see. You have to draw in this manner. Okay, these 4 fluorines are in same plane and these 2 are in above and below. Next, amongst tetrafluorides, SF4 is the okay. Among tetrafluorides, SF4 is a gas and SCF4 is a liquid, and TeF4 hexafluorides we have seen. Now we are seeing about the tetrafluorides. So what happens in the case of tetrafluorides? SCF4 is a liquid, SF4 is a gas, TeF4 is a solid. That's how if you go to the down the group, that masses will be increased and the boiling points and melting points also will be increased. So these fluorides have which type of hybridization? These will have sp3d hybridization. So if it is a sp3d hybridization, what shape that will have, Aishwarya, usually? If the hybridization of sp3d is there, what is the shape usually that will have geometry?
Trigonal bipyramid.
Very good. Trigonal bipyramidal. And this is the geometry. This is not shape. Okay. Geometry is different. Shape is different. So in geometry, lone pair of electrons also consider. So sp3d, why we are calling? So if is the case of this one, sulfur, this is the electronic configuration. We want SF4, we want. So what it happens? This will also be excited to here. So what happens now? Here 2 electrons are here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here 1 electron, because another electron has been excited to the d orbital. So 1 electron. So 4 are there. Now what is the hybrid? So this lone pair of electrons also you have to consider, because why it is? Because that is also outermost shell, right? So S 3 p orbitals and 1 orbital, sp3d. But this s orbital, so whatever it is there, 5 will be combined. Okay, 5 will be combined, 5 orbitals. Then what? 1 orbital is having 2 lone pair of electrons. So that is the reason, if lone pair of electrons also there, that you have to consider for the hybridization also. To mention the shape, it is the have trigonal bipyramidal structure in which one of the equatorial position is occupied by a lone pair of electrons. Okay, so this is the geometry, but what is this geometry is also regarded as a seesaw. So this is the shape, basically this is actual shape. Seesaw means, do you know what is seesaw means, Vidisha?
Yes,
Vidisha,
sir.
what is seesaw means? What is seesaw means? Aishwarya, what is seesaw means? Seesaw means that is game like children's in the past kids play, no? This type of one rod will be there, okay? One rod will be there, and even elders also play this game. Okay, this is how one person sits here, and another person sit here. Whoever is the higher one, so he can go the down. So lightweight person goes to the upside. So this is the game of seesaw game. So that is the reason this is seesaw geometry. We call it as a seesaw geometry. You can see shape of like this one is a one side. You can consider it as a one side. Okay, one person, lone pair of electron. And these two fluorides are in another side. So weight is not balanced both sides. So that is the reason what happens. This will swing from up and down. So that is the reason this is different type of structure, which is seesaw geometry, which is very important for the examination point of view. Is it clear now, Vidisha? What is seesaw means?
Yes, sir.
So that's how it is the hybridization. You can see here, one is get excited and that goes to the all elements except selenium form dichlorides and dibromides. So selenium cannot form, the rest all will form in the chalcogens. So why? Because selenium that is having the lone pair of electrons, repulsions will happen. So if you go down the group, the tendency to lose the only 2 electrons, that will be decreased. So 4 electrons can be given. That's how SeF4 is possible, but SeF2 cannot be possible. That is the reason Sc+2 is not stable oxidation state. So that is the reason if you go down the group, what happens? The tendency of +2 oxidation state will be decreased, and +6 also will be decreased, but the tendency of +4 oxidation state will be increased. So that is the reason from sulfur to selenium when you come, that will be increased. So that is the reason of that one. So this is all about the dichlorides case. So in the dichlorides case, what happens? Only these 2 electrons are enough. So how many electrons are present here? So 2 lone pair of electrons are present. What is the hybridization? Sp3 hybridization is here. So if these 2 are also you are considering, if 2 also considering sp3 hybridization means, what is the geometry of that one? What is the geometry of that one, Vidisha? If sp3 hybridization means usually. Aishwarya, what is the geometry of sp3 hybridized orbitals?
Tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral. So that is the geometry. But in this one, 2 lone pair of electrons are which are there in sulfur. So actual shape is different. What is the shape? Actually bent. So because in the 2-1, what is happening here? 2 lone pair of electrons are there. So that is the geometry. So geometry, which one? Tetrahedral geometry, but shape is bent. So you should not get confused both. So in the shape, in the what you have to, you should not consider this 2 lone pair of electrons. But to mention the geometry, you have to write complete one to conclude this lone pair of electrons also. The well-known monohalide. So we have seen hexahalides, we have seen tetrahalides, we have seen dihalides. Now monohalides. So usually monohalides doesn't exist as a in their own state, but how they exist? They can exist as a dimeric in nature. They are in dimeric in nature. So SeCl cannot exist, but what can that do? That can form the dimers, and this is how dimers can be exist. And these also not stable. They will go to the whatever the most stable oxidation state. So disproportionation reactions will be takes place. Here the oxidation state is +1. So +1 to +4, oxidation state 3 is increasing. Here it is 0. Okay, so here it is decreasing. So both are, if it is increasing, that is oxidation reaction. If it is decreasing, reduction reaction. So in one reaction, both are taking place. The type of reactions what we call disproportionation reaction. So Se to Cl2 usually not stable. Whatever the stable oxidation state, that only will takes place. So these questions you have to write, okay, in your homework notebook. You have to write all these in text question. So why H2S is less acidic than H2TU? Because of bond lengths only. Because of bond lengths, H2H can be broken, and these trends are very, very important, each and every one. Thermal stability, what happens to the electron gain enthalpy, what happens to the electronegativity, what happens to the boiling points and melting points, what happens to the sizes. All these trends you should know, because compulsory questions are asked in this one. So I will prepare the one video for this trends only. I will prepare, and one post I will post. But you should, before watch that one video, you should get your idea this one. So all this you post. And you have to post in Google Classrooms. I am not seeing your classworks or homeworks in the Google Classrooms. I am creating the assignments. So 3 students are doing regularly. So rest 2 students not doing. So you have to do. I know that one. You know, you also know. And if you do, if you write like that, if you don't stick in your studies, you cannot pass the examination, board exams. That's how. So what is our next topic, Aishwarya? Aishwarya,
Yes, sir.
what is our next topic? Preparation, dioxygen. Okay, so dioxygen, we came to the dioxygen, how we can prepare. So how we can prepare in the laboratory? By taking potassium chloride. By taking potassium chlorate. This name is potassium chlorate. If you heat in the presence of manganese dioxide, so you know preparation method if they ask, so this you have to remember, potassium chloride. Oxygen you write first. Okay, whenever you write this type of compounds, KClO3 is there. So oxygen you are preparing, so you write the O2. So what is left there? O2 means whatever the major compounds can be formed from here. So that you have to write KCl, that is the maximum. Then you have to balance. Here it is the odd number, so you have to make it even number. So 2 you write. So 2 into 3 it became 6. Now you have to write 3 here. So since potassium is also becoming 2, you have to put 2 here. Now it is balanced, rich and everything. That's how you have to remember. So that's how you can prepare the oxygen in the laboratory. And next one, what are the next way to prepare this oxygen? By decomposition, the thermal decomposition of the oxides of metals low in the electrochemical series. Okay, so these are the low in the electrochemical series if those metal oxides are available as a ores. Okay, if it is in the low, if you heat that one, because silver can exist that one state, that is the reason oxygen can be removed easily if you heat. The same case for the mercury, but in the case of these are the mid reactive. It's not as such is a low reactive in the from the electrochemical series. It's a little bit mid reactive compared with the mid reactive, that is also less mid reactive. So in that case, what happens if you decompose this type of oxides, Pb3O4 or PbO2, that gives the oxides, and oxygen will be released. So since oxygen is releasing, so this is can be industrially, can be in the laboratory, you can prepare in this way. Next where you can prepare in the case of hydrogen peroxide. This you have studied in the 11th also. Hydrogen peroxide, wherever the peroxide bonds are there, those are usually not stable. Okay, if you give some energy, that will break to give oxygens. Okay, oxygen and water. On large scale, it can be prepared from water or air. So if you take the air, so air contains a different type of elements, right? Elements and compounds, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, all will be there. So since mixture of compounds are there in the air, what that will be taken to the fractional distillation, and step by step will be separated. So carbon dioxide will be eliminated as a solid carbon dioxide, which is called the sublimation of solid dry ice. So we call it as a dry ice. So that's how first that can be removed, then later nitrogen can be removed, the later oxygen can be removed by doing the fractional distillation, because the boiling points between these two compounds is less than 25 Kelvin. So that is the reason what happens, you have to do fractional distillation. By doing this fractional distillation, how you can what you can separate oxygen, you can separate it. So this is the way in industrially they do. So in the hospitals also they use, right, cylinders. So that is the reason this is how they prepare, and that can be used for the hospitals or for the oxygen cylinders who are the mountaineers who are going to the upside of the mountains. They also have to carry. At higher altitudes, oxygen levels are low. That is the reason oxygen cylinders play very vital role in the everyday life. So that is the reason what happens. So by this mixture of compounds can be prepared. If you take the air, what can be prepared? Nitrogen can be prepared, nitrogen gas can be prepared. This can be used for the inert atmosphere, and the oxygen gas can be prepared, carbon dioxide, which is a dry ice. So many compounds can be prepared, right? So this is how dioxygen can be prepared. Now physical properties. What is this diagram? Vidisha, what is this diagram? Where you have studied this diagram? Huh? Aishwarya, where you have studied this?
In 11th class we have studied, sir.
Where? On which topic? 11th class we have studied, very good. But which topic? Huh?
Bonding, sir. Chemical bonding.
But topic. So where you have drawn this one? MOT theory. Okay, molecular
Pentahalide.
molecular orbital theory. When you have studied about the molecular orbital theory, there you have studied. Okay, oxygens, what you do? Two oxygens you take. This is the s orbital. S orbitals of the two oxygens. So this is the orbitals of the molecule. These are the atoms. These are the molecules. So in the atom, in the 2s orbitals, how many are there? If I write the electronic configuration of oxygen, what it is? 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, right? So 2s2 means this 2, 2p4 means 2 electrons, 1. Okay, so here this is how p orbital. If it is s orbital, these two s orbitals, 2 are bonding and 2 are going into the anti-bonding. So here 8 are 4 plus 4, 8 electrons you have to adjust in this manner. How? This is how sigma, and these two are the pi x pi y. So this forms the sigma bond, this forms the pi bonds. So that's how 8 electrons means 2 he comes here, 2, 4, 6. So 2, rest 2, first one goes here, another one goes here. So that is the reason, if it is any element is having, any molecule is having the lone pair of electrons, that will show the magnetic properties of the paramagnetic. If it is a paired one, that is the diamagnetic one. So despite of having the even number of electrons, so what is oxygen? 8 means 8 electrons. So usually that should be paired, another oxygen is coming. So what happens? These two lone pair of electrons should be paired, that should be diamagnetic. Despite of that one, what is this one? O2 is a unique in being paramagnetic. The rest all, the whatever the chalcogens are there, that will show diamagnetic, because those doesn't exist in S2 form. Usually sulfur is there, S8 form. Tellurium will exist in another form. So that is the reason those are diamagnetic. But if sulfur is in exist in S2 form, at higher, if you give the higher temperatures to this one, S2 also can be possible. There that can behave as a paramagnetic. So O2 means what? Paramagnetic. And these are the gas, colorless, that we know. Oxygen you cannot see, right? That doesn't have any color and that doesn't have any smell also. This is what the melting point and boiling point in Kelvin, very less it is, and its solubility is how much? This much only, 3 in 100 per centimeter cube. 3 centimeter cube can be dissolved at standard conditions, 293 Kelvin. But this, though it is the less amount, this can be sufficient for the aquatic life to survive. Okay, whoever is the fishes are there, prawns are there, that can be survived because of this much solubility is there. Otherwise, fish may not exist. That's how it is. Next, magnetic properties we have discussed. This is having 3 isotopes. Which one? Oxygen is having the 3 isotopes, 16, 17 and 18. So which one is the major one? 16 one is the major one, 99.7%. But little bit, this 17 and 18, this is what? Mass, atomic mass also can be possible. Okay, so this is what all about the oxygen physical properties. Now we will see the chemical properties. What happens, how they react with when react with the metals? So dioxygen directly reacts with the all metals and non-metals, because that having the higher reactivity nature. Oxygens are the good reactive that can react with the metals also, non-metals also. So when that is reacting with the calcium, for example, metal, calcium oxide will be formed. These reactions are simple. Aluminum and oxygen, aluminum oxide forms. So aluminum oxide. So valencies you can write. Oxygen valence you write here. Aluminum valence you write here. The same case with the calcium oxide. Non-metals, what happens when reacts with the this one, whatever the stable one is there of the phosphorus oxide. So P4O10 is forming, which is the acidic basically. Non-metal oxides are the acidic. Carbon, when reacts with the oxygen, carbon dioxide will be formed. So CO2 is the acidic. Why CO2? We say it as the acidic because when you put into the water, H2CO3, which is the carbonic acid, can be formed. So that is the based upon that you say it as a acidic oxide. Basic, for example, CaO is there. This we have to say it as a basic oxide. Why? Because if you put into the water, that gives calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. So since that is producing the base, we say it as a basic oxide. So that is the main difference between acidic oxides and the basic oxide. What are the amphoteric oxides, Rohini? What are the amphoteric oxides means? Vidisha, what is the amphoteric oxides means?
Which behaves as acidic as well as basic.
Can you say one example for that one?
Tellurium.
Huh? Okay. So like zinc oxide and Al2O3. Oh, all these compounds are as amphoteric oxides. So they will react with the both acids and bases. Okay, Al2O3 can react with the HCl also and NaOH also. So product will give different type of compound. AlCl3 can be formed here. Here NaAlO2. Okay, this type of compounds can be formed. Both this whatever the compound which reacting with the both acids and base. So that's we call it as a amphoteric oxides. So since we are studying about the oxides, we are studying about that property. Then reaction with other compounds. Okay, reaction oxygen, reaction with the other compounds like zinc sulfide. That sulfur dioxide will be produced and the respective metal oxide will be formed. This process is called the roasting. In the metallurgy, this is the major important step because you can remove the oxygen from the metals, but you cannot remove the sulfur from the metal to get the pure metal. So that is the reason in industry what they do, they will convert that to the oxides. Then that further that will be reduced with the carbon or some any other metals elements that you can get the zinc and carbon monoxide. So pure metals can be prepared from the ores. So that's how it is. What about the case of methane? Methane when reacts with the oxygen, okay, what forms? Carbon dioxide and water forms. So this is what the gases whatever we are using at homes. That is that the gases like butane gases, propane gases mixture only we are using. So what is happening? We are burning and carbon dioxide and water is releasing. So that water you cannot see because that is evaporating to the gaseous vapor. So that is the reason you cannot see. But this is the reaction is happening and lot of heat will be generated. Okay, fire will be generated, right? Which is using for the cook. Next, some compounds are catalytically oxides. So oxides is, for example, this is one of the important step for the preparation of the sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid can be prepared by contact process. Okay. So this contact process means that also I will explain you here. So what happens? This sulfur dioxide in the presence of vanadium pentoxide, when that reacts with the oxygen, one trioxide forms, which is the sulfur trioxide. So sulfur dioxide, when you react with the oxygen, SO3 will be formed. So this sulfur trioxide further react with the water. So when you put into the water, what happens here? H2, what is formed? What can be formed here, Vidisha? H2, total
H2SO4.
H2SO4, sulfuric acid. Okay, this is how different steps will be there. That also you can go through in the textbook. Okay, in between H2S2O7 also will be formed. Okay, this is called the oleum, H2S2O7. How this H2S2O7 is forming, that all you check. Okay, when sulfuric acid is there. When sulfuric acid is there, whatever the sulfur trioxide is forming, okay, so that both together will be formed H2S2O7. Okay, so that's how this oleum only will be used for the further decomposition to the sulfuric acid. So all the steps are given in the textbook, that all steps you learn for the contact process. So in which condition this catalyst is very, very important, which is that one, vanadium pentoxide. So different steps are there with the diagram, just you learn that one, just you go through that one. What is that process is called the contact process. Okay, that can be understood by just learning the steps. So that is the reason I'm not explaining here. Just you check in the syllabus. If it is there in syllabus, then only you study this contact process. So it is not included in that one. So probable reason that could have been removed from the syllabus. So that is the reason I have not included detailedly, but you should have information as you have studied the Haber's process. Where is the Ostwald's process is used? Rohini, where is the Ostwald's process used? Ostwald. Aishwarya, where is this Ostwald's process is used?
P block elements, sir.
In the preparation of where? Vidisha, where it is used? Vidisha. In the preparation of nitric acid. Okay, all of you should watch the videos here, and all of you should complete the classworks and homeworks on the time. Then only these things can be remembered. I said Haber's process is used for the NH3 preparation. Ostwald process is used for the nitric acid, and what else? Contact process is used for the H2SO4. So what are those steps? Sulfur, when reacts with the oxygen, sulfur dioxide can be formed. So that SO2, when you further, that will be oxidized to get the SO3, and that SO3, when you react with the H2O, you will get the H2SO4. Okay, that H2SO4 when reacts with the sulfur trioxide, you get the H2S2O7. So this H2S2O7 further, if you put into the water, you can get 2 moles of H2SO4, right? It is matching, right? You can write how many oxygens are there here? 8 oxygens are there. How many hydrogens are there? 4 hydrogens. How many sulfurs are there? 2 sulfurs are there. You can check here. So how many are there here? 4 hydrogens. Sulfurs, 2 sulfurs are here. Oxygens, how many are there? 4. 2 into 4 means 8. Okay, that's how it can be prepared. Sulfuric acid from volume it is prepared. Yes.
Sir, SO2 plus O2 is SO4, no, sir?
Okay, SO4, that you have to balance later. Okay, that you have to balance. SO4, is it possible? SO4. What is oxidation state of sulfur? What is the Vidisha, what is oxidation state of sulfur?
8.
8. Is it possible 8 in the 16th group elements? Huh?
No, sir.
Maximum can show oxidation state. Which one? Whatever that particular group is. So 6th group, 6th A group, or you can say it is 16th group elements. So 16th group elements means that 6 only show maximum oxidation state. So you cannot write SO4 there. What you have to do, you have to balance. How you can balance here? So here, how you can balance here? SO2, O2 means SO4 you should not write. Here oxygens are odd number are coming. So simply you can put 2 here. Now how many oxygens are became now? 6 oxygens. So here 2 already. So 2 sulfurs, how many are there? 2 sulfurs. So what you can do here? 2 you have to. Now you tell me, is it balanced now? Still you have to write, you want to write SO4. Aishwarya.
No, sir, correct, sir.
So that is the importance of balancing chemical reaction. So just by doing it, so just as a rough idea I have given you, that you have to practice. Why it is SO3, SO4, it's not social or Hindi. Just combine you together, you add and you write whatever you want. So all these things will be involved. Oxidation states, okay, and sizes of the fluorines, whether SF6 is possible or SF4, which one is the stable. All these things you have to keep in mind while you study. So apart from that, this one we have seen SO2, here it is given, right? SO2 plus O2, SO3 is forming, but where catalyst is required, and still you are asking SO4 is forms. Then next one, HCl when reacts with the oxygen, chlorine gets the oxidized. So 12. What is time now? 12. Okay. Chlorine get oxidized to the Cl2. Oxygen is the good oxidizing agent. Cl, what is the oxidation state number? So is Cl -1. Okay, here Cl2 means 0. So Cl minus 1 to 0 means number is increasing or decreasing, Aishwarya? Minus 1 to 0.
Decreasing, sir.
Decreasing. Minus 1 to 0 means decreasing. Very good. Vidisha, minus 1 to 0 increasing or decreasing?
Increasing, sir.
Increasing यार, minus 1 to 0 increase करना है तुम्हें. Minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. It is increasing. Number is increasing. You are saying reverse, Aishwarya. You are getting confused. You have to take care of all those things. Then only if you know whether increasing or decreasing, that you have studied increasing the numbers, that is oxidation. If you don't know that whether this number is increasing or decreasing, then how you can find it out, Aishwarya? Okay, decreasing, increasing here. Minus 1 to 0 means what? Increasing. So increasing means what? Oxidation. Oxidation is happening. Because of whom it is happening? Oxygen. But here we required catalyst is the copper chloride. For this, all these reactions you have to remember and you have to balance. You have to practice the balanced chemical reactions. Next, uses. Where these oxygens can be used, all these uses, okay, you can go through that one. If you are having any doubt in this one, you can ask me. So usually uses I will not discuss. So if you are having any doubt in that one, you can ask me. And you have to write this in text questions. So now we will see the oxides. Oxides. So different types of oxides also I have explained already. What are the different type of oxides? Simple oxides, mixed oxides. Both type of oxides are available in this case. So these are the simple oxides, H2O, MgO, Al2O3, whatever the valency can be available for that only, that much only accepting. For example, valency of aluminum is 3, that much will be their oxygen, Al2O3. So this is one of the complete oxide it is. So these are called the simple oxide. What is the mixture? Mixed oxides means, for example, lead is there, which is Pb3O4. So this can be mixed with the PbO and PbO2. So all these three will be mixed. Whenever this type of mixed compounds are there, that type of oxides are called the mixed oxides. So and further this is bifurcated into the different types like acidic oxides, basic, amphoteric, neutral. All these things we have discussed already. Okay, this is only related. What are the simple oxides, acidic oxides and the basic oxides? Sulfur dioxide, which is the non-metallic oxide, when you put into the water, you get the H2SO3. What happens that one? H2SO3 means what? H2SO3 means sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid means that is acidic. Acid is coming, no? So acidic. That's how sulfur dioxide is the acidic one. The same way Cr2O3, chromic oxide. So these are the, when chromium trioxide, is it metal? Chromium, is it metal oxide or non-metal oxide, Vidisha? Vidisha? Huh? Metal oxide, but still it is the acidic oxide. The reason is that here the oxidation state of chromium is how much it is increasing. If the number of oxygens are more, that when chromic anhydride combines with the water gives chromic acid gives. Okay, here the oxidation state of chromium is how much here it is? How much here it is? 3, right? 3 plus 3. Okay, due to that one, what happens? This also can behave as a, if more oxidation number is more, that also can be behave as a acidic nature. For example, Mn2O7. So what is the oxidation state here? Plus 7. CrO3, here it is plus 6. B2O5, here it is plus 5. You can see oxidation number more means what? That can behave as a acidic. So for example, Mn2O7 is there. And another one is there, for example, MnO is there. So this MnO, you cannot say it as acidic oxide. Okay, this can be basic oxide. But Mn2O7, it is the oxidation number is increasing, right? So oxidation number is increasing means what? Acidic character will be increasing. That's how whatever the acids will form, those are called though it is a metal, still that can forms the acidic oxides. Usually this type of D block elements forms the compounds with number of oxygens more. That is the reason these many of D block elements will show the acidic nature. Is it okay, Vidisha? Is it clear why that still, though it is the metal, why it is acidic?
Yes, sir.
Next, simple oxides, basic. So that we have seen already, when calcium oxide, when reacts with the water, base is given, right? Oxides of most metals such as Na2O, CaO, BaO are basic in nature. That's how these are. Next one is amphoteric. Okay, amphoteric I said already, examples of zinc oxide, okay, that can react with both acid and base. So this type of complex compounds can be formed, and this type of salts plus water can be formed here. So as water is forming, salt plus water is forming, that's how this is, you have to say it as a base in this case, reacting with acid. Here it is reacting with the base, here it is behaving as a acid. That's how it is. And the same case with the aluminum. Okay, what is also, whatever the water is forming there, that again combining with the form the some coordination compounds there. Okay, so you can write the reaction simply also. For example, if I write ZnO plus NaOH, here the product will be Na ZnO will become here Zn2O, NaZn2O. So this can be formed here as 4 plus the oxidation state of Zn is how much is Na to Zn. Okay, but it will be formed here. For example, NaOH plus ZnO, both are reacting. You can write in the examination this type of examples also. So you can make it point out Na to ZnO. So by that what happens, Na to ZnO2. By that zinc can maintain that +2 oxidation state. Plus H2O also can be right. So that you can later balance. The same case with the acid. ZnO, if it be behaving as a base, here it is behaving as a acid, that's how it is reacting with the base. If that is reacting with the acid, so here you can write ZnCl2 plus H2O. Okay, salt plus water. Here it is a salt plus water. Here it is giving along with the water molecules, whatever it is forming, that's coordination compounds will form. So along with that one, this is given. So when you study the coordination compounds, you will understand how it is forming. The same case with the aluminum also. Next, some apart from this one, which one is the acidic and basic and amphoteric, some neutral also there. Neutral, which both means which they cannot act as a acid or base, or they cannot behave as a amphoteric also. Neutral, they will not react with the others, but they forms the coordination compounds. For example, carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon monoxide, which is the neutral oxide. Carbon, which is oxide. But CO2 is what here? Which one? CO2 is here acidic, but CO is neutral one. The same case with the nitrous oxide. Okay, these are NO. These are the neutral oxides. So you should know what are the neutral oxides and all. Okay, so when is your physics class, Vidisha? At what time?
Today no physics class, sir.
It is cancelled.
Wednesday, sir.
Okay, today Wednesday, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I will take some more 10 to 15 minutes. Then, so everyone is there in class. Aishwarya, all 5 students are there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So some more 10 to 15 minutes I will take and I will leave you. Next, ozone. So ozone, what is the formula of ozone, Rohini?
O3.
O3. Okay, very good. So next we have to see about what is the ozone, what are the structures of that ozone, and how that reacts, chemical reactions of ozone. All these we will see, and we will finish this one, and the next continuation of that one I will prepare today only. I will prepare the video and I will post. By that 16th group we have to finish that one. We have to, because next chemical reactions only there, which you can read yourself also. For that, what I will do, I will prepare the video of that continuation, because your mobile network will be, consumed. So that is the reason I will prepare. But all of you should watch, and you have to comment there. We have, after watching, sir, we have completed. I have watched. By that I can come to know. Next, ozone is an allotropic form of oxygen. Okay, oxygen is having different type of allotropics like O2 and O3, which is forming by 3 oxygen atoms. It is too reactive to remain in atmosphere at sea level. Okay, at this level, this is not exist. O3. But where it is available, O3, if you go to the above 20 to 30 kilometers from the sea level, their ozone layer is, you can see here, ozone. So because in that condition only, oxygen here, how it is forming, O2 is present there usually. So when this energy is coming, as like UV light, whatever it is, the energy is coming, high energy ultraviolet radiation is coming, that will break oxygen into the two oxygens, atoms, nascent oxygens can be formed. Then what these nascent oxygens do there, so at that conditions, at that temperature will be low there. So all these, and the light will be more, all these conditions will be favor to form the ozone there. So what happens, whatever this nascent oxygen is there, so along with these two oxygens that will be combined. Okay, that's how two molecules of O3 from one oxygens can be formed. So what is happening, two oxygens are coming separately, and with the two oxygen molecules are combining, and those are forming the O3, ozone. Okay, so ozone is very important for the human beings. Why? Because that is not allowing the ultraviolet from the so that is the nature of that, the ozone layer. So in the environment chemistry, this is most important topic. This one is protecting. So but visible light can come to the surface, that will not stop. All this because of the wavelength, due to the wavelength only, that's how it is, okay, protecting. This is not allowing the UV, because all these reactions are taking place, UV is consuming right there. So that is the reason. So what is that sphere where it is forming? Actually stratosphere. In the stratosphere it is forming. Which one? Ozone. Next, how this can be prepared? Ozone can be prepared. How? Usually by passing the current, silent electric discharge. If you do this one, so this type of setup where it is, okay, static electrical discharge, you are directly not passing the current, but under the environment of current, if you put any metal and if you pass the dry oxygen gas, what happens? This reaction will take place, oxygen to the O3. So what is this reaction? Whether this reaction is endothermic or exothermic reaction, Aishwarya? Aishwarya, is this reaction endo? Vidisha, which reaction it is, endothermic or exothermic? Rohini. Rohini, do you know or not? Aishwarya, which reaction? Endothermic, because the energy is Rohini is there. Why she is unable to answer? I don't know. Vidisha, no one is answering.
Sir, Rohini rejoined, sir.
Rejoined now, okay. So 140T, that means she doesn't have good internet connection. You are able to hear me clearly, no, Aishwarya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 142 plus it is. So that means that reaction is endothermic. So if you want to make it to the favor of this right side, what you have to do, if you have to give the temperature, because this reaction is exist in the equilibrium. This production of ozone is not so simple. How much in this process also, how much you can prepare? Only 10%, because it is a endothermic reaction and this is not stable. Thermodynamically it is not stable. If you want to convert this reaction to the forward direction, if you give the temperature, what happens? That again goes back. So that is the reason you cannot do that one. So this much is enough for the many industrial purpose. So this type of oxygen, which is 10% in the 90% of oxygen, that is called the ozonized oxygen. So mixture of O3 and O2 only can be collected. But if you want to convert it as a measure, what you can do, this type of battery of ozonizers. So these type of missions are completely designed to produce the higher concentration of ozone. What those are ozonizer missions it is called. Why? Because due to the Le Chatelier principle, if you increase the temperature also, what happens? That will be decomposed, because O3 is not stable, ozone is not stable compound. That is the reason that will gives back to the oxygen. Ozonizers, what we call it as a ozonizer. These are the battery, and under the special conditions this type of are designed. And if concentration of ozone greater than 10% are required, so if you want more than 10%, so these type of ozonizers only can be used. So if you 10% is enough for the industrial purpose, so this type of static, by using the static electric discharge, silent electrical discharge, this can be produced. So inside this oxygen gas can be formed. So no need to draw these diagrams in your class notes. So this is just for your understanding purpose only. Nikhil, can you hear me? Nikhil. Okay. Physical properties. What are the physical properties of ozone? Ozone is a gas at room temperature, but pale blue in gaseous state, that shows in the pale blue color in the gaseous state, and dark blue in liquid state. Okay, if you go to the temperatures below minuses, so that gives the liquid also. Deep blue color you can see. Violet in black, violet black in the solid state. In solid state, that will have the violet color. And smell, they have the characteristic smell. Harmless in low concentration. If it is 1% or 0.5%, nothing will happen. But if it is more than 100 ppm, okay, 100 ppm, it causes the breathing. More than breathing issues will be there. So 100 ppm means that you can imagine. So that is very, very less quantity. So that much below the 100%, 100 ppm, nothing will happen. If it is more than 100 ppm, breathing issues will be there, headache. Okay, all these problems will be there. Melting point is 161 Kelvin and boiling point is 385 Kelvin. So this much is the boiling point. Now solubility. This is soluble in water, and solubility depends upon the partial pressure and temperature. We know if you increase the pressure, what happens to the solubility of the gases? Gases solubility will be increases. And this one, what we have seen, O2 to O3. So balance reaction, 2 you have to write here, 3 you have to write here. Okay, so this is how from O2 to oxygen. So what happens to the O3? If that decomposes, that gives O2 plus O. Okay, so number of molecules are increasing. That means that entropy is increasing. So this reaction is favorable. That is the reason O2 to O3 is not so favorable. And Gibbs energy also will be negative, much negative value for this one, negative. But here it is, even HY value itself is positive. So Gibbs value will be positive for this one usually. So positive means what? Reaction is non-spontaneous. This one is a spontaneous reaction. So that's the matter completely is given here. Just you go through that one. Next, chemical properties. These chemical properties, I will from here I will prepare the video. Okay, afternoon I will prepare the video and I will post. All are you having internet issues? So I cannot do anything. Okay, just Pooja, are you able to hear me?